What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Chef, and today marks the beginning of our journey in creating a game. By demand from my former students and my peers, I'm going to take you on this journey of creating a game using Unity. Okay, but I know you're probably excited to get started and learn from your former science teacher if you were one of my students. But we do have to go over a few things first. First off, you need to acquire some software for your computer. Okay, now I'm going to be showing these videos using my PC. I don't know how much compatibility there is with Mac. I know that Unity does work on Mac. However, Visual Studio, I'm pretty sure, does not. And you want to have both of these things, okay? So you can just go to Unity 2018, okay? Read the little intro page, and they'll show you how to get started with downloading Unity. Make sure you get the personal version. You do not want any of the other ones because they will make you pay for that. At one point, you will probably be asked if you use your computer, if you use Unity at a company to make money. And one of the options will be down there. My company makes less than $100,000 a year. My company makes more than $100,000 a year. And then there should be a third option about, no, I do not use Unity for commercial purposes. So make sure that you select this one. Otherwise, Unity will try to ask you for some money. You also want to get Visual Studio 2017. Visual Studio is an independent developer's environment, an IDE, and that's where we're going to be writing our code, okay? You don't 100% need Visual Studio, but Visual Studio will make your life much, much, much more easy, and I will show you why when we actually get there. You should expect Unity to take a few hours to install. So I'd recommend you hook your computer up to a hard internet line. Wireless will just take longer. And get ready to prepare a several hour long download. Most of it can run in the background and you can do something else, watch some TV, go out with your friends, whatever, while Unity installs. But there may be points where it says, you know, check this and check that and hit OK here. So just keep that in mind. Visual Studio will install more quickly. But just be prepared for that. Unity is a pretty big file, so you want to make sure you have plenty of space on your computer. When you get started with this, I recommend that you get yourself a pretty rockin' badass computer. If you have a standard basic one, you may encounter performance issues when using Unity. So make sure you get yourself something that's, you know, a machine with a little bit of oomph to it, something that can really perform. Okay, so you'll need this and you'll need this. You want these two things. Well, you don't need this, but it's going to make your life easier. You definitely need this. The other item that you're going to need is a 3-button mouse. A 3-button mouse has a left click, a middle scrolly wheel, and a right click. Okay, you want to make sure you have all those. Make sure you have a mouse that can operate like that. If you have a high-tech gaming mouse, perfect. But if you don't have the scrolly wheel, it's going to make your life pretty difficult when trying to navigate in the Unity engine. Okay, I went down to Staples. I paid like $15 for a wireless Logitech mouse. It's got a left click, it's got a right click, and it's got the scrolly wheel with the button. So anything like that will do. Okay. You can work in Unity without a 3-button mouse, but it's really hard. It's challenging. I do not recommend using the pad on a laptop. It just doesn't have the functionality like a mouse does. So we'll add that 3-button mouse to your shopping list. Okay, Unity, Visual Studio, 3-button mouse. And I do not think I am Nope, that's it. That's all you need, really. Okay, cool. So go ahead and get yourself Unity, get Visual Studio 2017, get that 3-button mouse, hit pause, and come back when you have all of those things. Okay? All right. So if you've made it this far, then you have downloaded Unity. You've probably even tried opening it and messing with it. Well, I'm going to show you the basics of using Unity. Okay, and let's get started. Unity takes some time to open up. Okay, you want to hit the new button. Okay, and we're going to go with a 3D game. Okay, okay. You can name it whatever you feel like. I've already got the beginnings of a project, so I'm not gonna hit new. I'm just going to open one that I already have right here, but you want to hit new, call it whatever you like, okay? And let's go to it. Unity may take some time to open initially, or when you start a new project, okay? All right, and here we are. Welcome to Unity. This is the environment. Now, when you get started, you're probably actually going to see something like this. In fact, you may actually even see something that's a little bit more, well, yeah, you'll see something like this. Okay, I'm going to hide these objects for the time being because we don't need them yet. Okay, cool. Great. So you're going to have something that looks a little bit like this. So how do we navigate in Unity? Before we start building things, I'm going to tell you how to use and work around and move in Unity. Okay. So your mouse is your main item. Click on objects to open them. When you start, you should have a camera and a light source, okay, called a main camera and a directional light. Okay. And I can click on them. And then I can manipulate that object and move it or do whatever. And I can click on that and I can move it and do whatever with it. Okay. If I want to zoom and get a closer look at something, I want to just scroll up on my mouse wheel and that will move me forward. Okay. And I can zoom in and get really close in there. Okay. And if I want to zoom out, I can just roll backwards on my mouse wheel. Okay. There we go. If I push the mouse wheel in, so that makes it, that's the actual third button, clicking the mouse wheel, then you notice that your cursor changes to a little hand here, okay? And as I move my mouse left and right, I can navigate laterally, and I can also go up and down like so, okay? Okay. If I click on the right mouse button, and I will get this, and that'll freeze my camera's position, and I can rotate and take a look around and look at my space around here. Okay, so that's that cool. You also notice that it's an eyeball and then those 4 little dots there. That means that you can use the W, A, S, and D, the WASD keys, to navigate more. Okay, so now like this, while holding the right mouse button, I can hit W and zoom in, and that has the same effect as scrolling the mouse wheel. Okay, and then I can pan to the left here, and that has the same effect as clicking the mouse wheel in and doing that. Okay, but the advantage is, of course, is that I can zoom and turn and look and move around almost as if I'm playing a first-person game. Okay. You also notice that my mouse, the cursor, when I go over to the left, right, because I'm not clicking or anything, it doesn't go beyond. It doesn't go any further. But if I were to right-click to do my rotating mode, and now I'm going to take my mouse, my cursor, off the screen and look on the right side. There it is. So I can just keep scrolling to the left and just do an instant constant use of that. I can also flip the camera upside down and get an upside down perspective, so that works, okay? And that works when you grab the, if you click the middle mouse wheel, that works just the same, okay? So well, this is some of your navigation, well, that's how you navigate around Unity. Cool. All right. Now how about for moving objects? Okay. Let's say I don't like where my camera is. I want to move it. I don't want my camera there. I want to move it. Or you know what? I want my camera to look at the sky, perhaps. Well, I can do that. Okay. Currently, this little thing right here is called a widget. Okay. And the default widget is the position widget. This is where it is in the 3D space, right? And I can, if I grab this red arrow, it's going to change color. That tells me that I can click on it, and that's the one I'm going to grab. Okay, so you notice that it changes color. So, and if I grab it, it's only going to go on that lateral. Okay, and I can grab the green one, and I can only move it up and down. And I can grab the blue one, of course, and change it like that. Okay, but I don't want to just move my camera. I want to actually aim my camera towards the sky. Well, I can, while I have the camera selected, I can hit the E button, okay? And now my widget changes into this little circular shape, okay? And these are how I'm going to rotate the object, okay? And I can rotate along the X, and so now I can aim up, and there's my sky, okay? But what if I want to turn my camera? Oh, there we go. Now the camera preview is not changing, but of course you can see these lines here. This is actually what the camera is looking at. Okay, so that's what it's going to see. And I can also do a barrel roll. Whoa, dizziness, right? Okay, so that's how I can move an object around and rotate it. Okay, well, there's one more functionality. However, in order to show that off, we want to create something. Okay, so let's, for the time being, we're going to right click on the main camera and we're going to say bye-bye, delete. Okay, I'm going to click on this directional light and I'm going to say bye-bye. And you notice that the lighting changes a little bit. Now there is no in-game light. There is no in-game camera. If I hit game, I'm going to get an error message. There's no camera to use. That's fine. We'll get there. We'll get there. Okay, folks. We have a lot of things that we have to do. Okay. Sample scene. That's not a very good name. No. How do I but we want to resize something, right? We want to make something bigger. Okay. I'm going to right click in this space. This is my hierarchy. This space is my hierarchy. Every object that I build is going to be displayed here. Okay, that's what it's called, hierarchy. So I'm going to right click, and what I want a 3D object, and let's start off with a cube. And there's my cube. I built it right there. I want to get a little bit closer to it. No, I'm not making my cube bigger. I'm just zooming in and getting a good close perspective of it. Okay, there she is. Beautiful looking cube. Oh, but I don't want a cube. I actually want to make a plank. I want a flat plank, right? That my character can walk on. So how do I turn this cube into a plank? Well, you can do that. I'm gonna hit the. Remember, if I hit the W key, that lets me move my cube. If I hit the E key, that allows me to rotate my cube. Okay, and if I hit the R key, now I can bring up and get this third widget, and that'll let me resize my cube and change its dimensions. Okay. Grab it from here, grab it from there, and if I grab this middle white square, that will scale the object uniformly. and just make it overall bigger. Okay, make it huge, tiny, whatever I want. All right. Well, that's just one way to manipulate the location, rotation, and scale of an object in Unity. There is another way to manipulate the object, and that is over here in this little area called the inspector. The inspector offers detailed statistics and information about my object. Okay. The part of the inspector that we currently care about is the transform. Okay. Now, if you just see this, where it says the word transform, but nothing beneath it, you just want to click on the little arrow here, and that'll expand it. Great. And transform refers to an object's position, rotation, and scale. That's all. Okay. So let's say I have a specific location where I want to move my cube to. Okay. Well, I can just type in information, and boom. Okay. Now my object is located in the center of my game development area. Well, close to the center, actually. If I go 0, 0, 0, now we are in the center. Okay. All right. The rotation, if I set it to 0, 0, and 0, okay. Now it looks to be like it's, well, it kind of looks like it's halfway on the grid and halfway below it. That's about what we want, though. It's okay. It's at the origin. Right? It's at the very center. It's at the very center of where it is. And I can reset. And then watch. If I hit E again to bring up the rotation wheel, when I rotate it, look at the rotation in the inspector. You'll notice that the Z value is changing. Okay. But let's keep it at 0 for now. Okay. For scale, if I set the scale of my object to 0, 0, 0, well, now it doesn't exist. It's not there anymore. I basically turned it off. I don't want that. So the scale of the object should be 1 to 1 to 1. Got a lot smaller, right? This object is now precisely 1 cubic meter. The units in Unity are meters, for the most part. You can change them, but they use meters by default. Okay. So if I were to create a character, my character, most humans are about 2 meters tall. So if I were to go into the Y, okay, and make it, there we go. Now this object is roughly the size of a human character. Granted, you set your characters all using meters, right? So this thing's 2 meters tall. It's a pretty tall person, actually. It's Master Chief sized, actually. It's a good comparison. Okay. Let's set it back to 1 for now. Okay. And that concludes the first video, the basics of navigating and moving around in Unity. Okay. So just to recap, clicking in on the mouse wheel lets me do this. Right click allows me to do this. I can click an object and manipulate it. Okay. If I see this widget, I can adjust the size of my object. Okay. If I hit the E button, I can now rotate my object. And if I hit the W button, I can move my object. Okay. Alrighty then. Thanks for watching. This has been lesson 1, and I will see you in the next video.